Hello and welcome to Failure and Analysis. I'm playing Blood Bowl 2 with my Underworld Denizens. Game 19 against Dwarf. Always a great matchup for all my goblins. Not really at all. Looks like I'm up TV just a little bit. It's kind of... well, it's a dynamic record. No draws. He doesn't settle for that. Let's take a look at his team. Guard dodge, guard stamp. Look at all that dodge. They're going to be annoying to knock down. Kick on his blitzer. Interesting. Tons of stand firm. Accurate on his runner. Kickoff return tackle. Alright, so somewhat unorthodox. Am I at home? Am I at home? Oh, it appears we are. Hello. Bomber dribble snot. And he gets nothing. Oh, he can actually buy the bomber probably too. If he notices. We'll see if he notices. Oh, he didn't. Actually, I don't know what his bomber costs. I mean, he's got block and 3 strength, and it's basically a long beard. He only has 8 armor though, but yeah. But he throws bombs. How do I traverse the list? Well, if you go, let's see. Go to champion letter 17. All data? Yeah, there's a little link on the bottom that says all data. When you click on that, you will you'll see the rest of the teams. Hey, Too Tall Brown, how you doing, man? What have you missed? Oh, everything. I played a Rebel game earlier, and this will be my second Underworld game of the night. I just played a Necromantic team against a very good coach. What else happened? That was a good game. Ended up winning 2-1. That was nice. With a 1-turn touchdown. I'm running Dark Elves in Rebel. Let's see all that guard bunch up, shall we? You did not score the touchdown the one turn. Gimloop, as you can see, is quite the hero. He just got plus movement. You've become our line of scrimmage specialist. You're a touchdown away. Not bad. Or an MVP. That foul appearance is still paying out big time. Yes, you are, Too Tall Brown. You are 3 SPPs away, so a random touchdown or an MVP. And you're on your way to Dirty Player. Uh-oh. Very nice. All right. Yeah. Yeah, very generous. He says he has to play super aggressive because he says he's trying to score in 5 turns. He's testing something out, and he only gives himself 5 turns to score. So I can imagine that's why he's doing things like that just seem scary. Yeah, that corner hit. What is he saying? Two skills turn a dwarf into a goblin. No. Don't you dare. Loner. Yes, a disappointing bomb, for sure. I considered just moving the troll in to get the hit on the troll slayer, but he would have really stupid with that roll. Well, they do. I was wondering about that. So I can't throw it into a mass of guys that just fouled one of my guys, because if it KOs the guy, my guy on the ground, my turn ends. Yeah. Good to know. He's got dudes in scoring position. This one's got block and dodge. I don't like him at all. Way too much dodge on this team. These are good elf screens right here. No, stunned. Too tall brown. Down he goes. You can't leave, man. You can't leave. I don't know. All I know is he's about to throw it. Interception. 5 or less to get past my interception. Whoa. It's not a cool way to start, man. Gotta pow this. Got it. Dead. Oh, still dead. Jeez. — 11-0-8 was his record. New kid. So pretty, like he either wins or he draws, or he wins or he loses. Nothing in between. Yeah, I'm not so sure about. I mean, my recollection of Blood Bowl on Facebook was like 1 million people complaining about cyanide because they had to rebuy the game that they already had, and you know, stuff like that, right? It's just complete noise about the commercial side, right? Nothing about the game. It was just, I don't want to pay money. You're ripping us off. Hey, Round 52, how you doing, man? Turn 5. Dead dwarf. It's true enough. That's right. Like, for anyone that loves Blood Bowl, right? Like, and has loved it for, you know, long enough where the computer games weren't out. And now the computer game comes along and it's like, well, I could spend $100,000 on miniatures, right? Or with a decent sale, I could spend $20 on Blood Bowl and play it as much as I want. So it's just funny that, like, the new era of Blood Bowl players are so stingy about the price when people are used to paying so much for minis, or even just the box set, you know. Yeah, no roller. He's doing some weird experiment where he has to score in 5 turns or less. So he rushes every offense, and he's still winning, like, more of his games than he's losing. But he threw the ball and I intercepted it. So basically how it's supposed to go when a dwarf does those things. Well, he's already leveled up from intercepting. Poor gut bit. I don't think he's going to score in 5 turns. He isn't going to complain a lot about Claw and Mighty Blow, though. Oh, he got the POW. Gobos teaching goblins. Or teaching dwarves what it's all about. Yeah. Well, this looks like a nice set of dwarves to blast. Inaccurate. That's pretty accurate. Yes, me. Woohoo! All three. And a removal. Yeah, I do applaud the effort. I mean, that's more effort than I put into redesigning, but as someone who's been on the other end of that process, it's very difficult for a company to make changes based on submitted stuff like that. It's actually not possible legally in a lot of places because it's unsolicited. Unsolicited work can't be just taken and used. You got to work out contracts and stuff like that, right? So otherwise it gets real tricky if there's any success based on any of those ideas. So not to mention you have to overcome the egos of the developers, you know, like who's this guy telling us how to design our game, you know, that kind of thing. So it can be a really tricky process. But I do applaud the effort, the thought that he puts into it, the time he puts into it. He's trying to take something he loves, make it better. Yeah, they have, I mean, they've got a lot of space in the Warhammer universe, you know. Not to mention you can always create new stuff. I imagine creating new stuff for them is difficult just because there's so their properties are so spread out that if you put it somewhere in the Warhammer universe, everyone else is going to be like, why isn't it ours? That's great. Why don't you put new stuff in ours? It must seem just a daunting task to add anything. Uh-oh, they didn't like that bomber. We're gonna fix him right quick. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was just I mean, the thing is, like, that was also just a bad change, right? Like, it was just a bad change. Like, yeah, let's basically remove it from the game. And of course, the reaction to it was, see, I only had 2 armor breaks. What was the problem? They just resulted in deaths, that's all. Yeah, blocked me. I intercepted. One thing I had going for me. Alright, 2. I killed a guy and I intercepted his blast. Can we call the experiment a success, or can we call his experiment a failure? Just scientifically speaking. What did he learn? Nice, yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, they have a lot of space in Warhammer, not to mention 40k they could do. Those would be some secret weapons, right? Plasma rifles. rocket launchers.
Twerps all my life, Jim. I don't see why I gotta take notice of them now.
But yes, I mean, game design a lot of times is, you know, test and iterate, right? Like, and you have to have this. What I worry about is that he's angry about specific mechanics. He wants to change those mechanics in order to test his new mechanics. He's putting himself in an environment where the old mechanics exist, and he's still angry about it. And so when he plays, he expects the things that, you know, that he hates to do the things that they do, and then he gets really upset when they happen. And so it's not a great environment for him to really learn or test. It's just sort of like this repetitive beating he's enduring. I'm not sure exactly what he was hoping to discover there, but Dwarves are bad at passing. They're bad at scoring fast touchdowns, right? And Kalon might explore the most efficient ways of removing players, right? Like, that's what we learned. But he got pretty angry about being shown those facts yet again. Thrower with the level up. Wow. Well. Normal. A normal roll. Oh, extra arms. Yeah, and I think that was, like, he was trying to, if I had to guess, I'm only guessing, but I think he was trying to determine how possible it is to score with dwarves in 5 or less turns. Like, he was trying to change the one half to be 5 turns long instead of 8 turns long, in an attempt to cut out stalling, right? And I agree, stalling is a very strange, unintuitive, you know, counterproductive mechanic that happens to be critical to the success of various teams. But Blood Bowl would be better off without stalling by some miracle of game design that just kind of eliminated the desire to do it and its power in winning. And so yeah, so the boundary there is, can dwarves do it? If dwarves can do it, then then he can set the half number of turns in half to 5. If he can't, he's got to go to 6 or 7 or 8 or 12 because dwarves are so slow, right? But I don't think he's attacking the problem from the right direction. I mean, because if a dwarf team gets down in 3 turns, they're still going to stall for 2, right? So he's reducing it, but the incentive is still there. All it really does is make it... all that really does is make it so the agi teams take fewer casualties while stalling against teams that are killing them while they're caged up in the corner ready to score, right? And so his plan is somewhat flawed, in my opinion. You sort of have to attack stalling from a different angle. You have to make people want to score as quickly as possible, as often as possible. I understand when the game first came out, it was the first one of 3 touchdowns. And that's closer to what you're looking for in that kind of thing. But Obviously that had its problems because it just heavily favored teams that can score quickly. So, right, Alarmstead, you're signed up. I got the petition right here. It has 5 million elves names on it. So yeah, the first of three thing didn't work, and so again, you're trying to manage the way that removal teams or bash teams work, and how they achieve victory, and how agi teams work. Forget about the hybrids for a second, which is a really challenging design task, right? And the fix would require a ton of playtesting, probably a very large number of changes to the existing game, to the teams, how they work, yeah, so it's a huge endeavor. But it looked like he didn't take Mighty Blow on anyone, so it looked like he was also experimenting with other things, like if we removed Mighty Blow and Claw from the game, what would the game look like? And what would the dwarf team take? Lots of guard and stand firm, it's like, and dodge whenever they can get it. So he was experimenting with multiple things all at once. And I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish, but the anti-stalling thing is a very complex problem. Sort of like what I choose here for my block sure hands pass thrower. I could do extra arm, foul appearance, tackle. I could do tackle. I mean, it's decent if he's the ball carrier. It's decent in the sense that if by some miracle they don't drop me with the cage dive or the fast guy with dodge or whatever, and I'm not going to go anywhere, he's good at putting that guy on the ground so that everyone can foul him. But probably not great. Two heads, that's also a great suggestion. Thank you. How you doing, Juegos de Lan? Yeah, I considered that. Just makes his dodges away much better. Or dodges through in the case where he has to score. I like that pick. And tackle, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like I should just kind of keep doubling down on what he is, which is carrying the ball. So what's the best thing for him carrying the ball? None of those. None of those. So two heads, extra arms. Yeah. Alright. I like that. I like that approach. Look at the rest of my team. I mean, he is starting to feel a little bad because, I mean, there's all these two heads and he doesn't have it, so kind of wants it, right? Yeah, he does. Big hand is very good with sure hands, clearly. Picking up on an 8 and 9 in any tackle, in any place. But would I build a goblin to do that? I'm currently liking two heads as the best option. I'm liking two heads.
Here the article
Anyone else want to make an argument for something that isn't two heads? Anyone want to make an argument for saving 400K? Just to do it? And someone says I'm number 2? Is that true? Look at me. Look at the lads. 13, 1, and 5. What a team. Wait a second. Where did he dip down? Was I just missing it? Oh, there he is. No, that's Dodge. Oh, look at this record coming up. Wow. Super low TV, too. I actually think that makes it easier to get wins. There are the Amazonas. Okay. He's third now, though. Elyod's coming up. 3 heads? Wow. That's a bit much. Is that like Kuatu from Total Recall? Is one's inside the belly? Show me your mind? Is that what we're talking about? Show me your mind. I'm talking about the original Total Recall. Not the later one. Sold. 2 heads it is. I believe that's the right choice. I wish you would flip a coin when he gets sacked. And they sack the other head instead, so he loses the ability at the end of the game. Has to rebuy it. Alright, that was game 19, putting me in second place, or at least second best Underworld team. Finishing at 13, 1, and 5. Not bad. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And come follow me on Twitch. And I'll see you soon for game 20.